Sturdy.
Oh, no. That's a good card, but it's not.
Wait, or actually his hand is insane. It's also possible he already has Spirit. The Red Eyes Fusion ad is really strange because it means the other card, the unknown in his hand, has to be Red Eyes Spirit, which will target the Red Eyes Soul and then target the Meteor Black Comet Dragon to do that last little bit of damage. If it's not, he's just made a huge mistake.
You can't use Red Eyes Fusion, right? Because you can't release it.
I'm an idiot. I can't even use that this turn. Holy crap. Thank God I had a backup plan. I cannot believe I just made that mistake. I grabbed Red Eyes Fusion, but if you didn't know, Red Eyes Fusion can only be activated if you don't summon during that turn. Well, partner, I summoned this turn. Shit!
So here we can go into Verte Anaconda, make Comet Dragon, set Spirit, burn him during the drop phase with Spirit Reborning Soul.
Dude, an impermanence here would fucking incinerate him.
Hey, you up for drinks? I'm taking my share of that
This doesn't do anything.
Isabella's pay.
Sounds fun. Not me.
Why did I do that? Oh, God, man. If he has an imperm, I just lose the game.
Yeah, versus Honda. Yeah. Jesus Christ, this thing is so annoying.
What a misplay.
Dragon Shrine 2? What's he sending?
I have no way to bring this back either, dude. Oh my god. I'm so sad. I'm so sad right now, dude. Feeling very good. There's no way the Yu-Gi-Oh! Egyptian gods have blessed me with another Infernal Fire Blast for me to fumble it. I have to make this work.
You should do it on the
Please don't remember.
Is there anything you can do?
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I think we win. I think we win. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. What does he have that he can activate, though? Inferno! Fire Blast! No! Yes! Woo!
What an absolutely crazy finish to the Shadow game. Syriax, congratulations. You were the man at the bottom going into the challenge. You were automatically in the Shadow game, but you make it out alive, surviving another
At what
episode.
cost? We lose Paul, bro. I didn't want to. Sorry, guys. In an environment where the opponent only has 4,000 life points, do not sleep on the Red Eyes Black Dragon engine. Ladies and fellas, man, I cannot believe my hunch worked. We brought an anime deck in, and we won with it. Joey Wheeler would be proud.
There's a big mistake when I look back at this. Isn't playing Vanquish Soul is that I didn't put in any like life point gain or like some life point burn negation type stuff. Like, you know, Hang Water or like just those sorts of cards. I'm so sad. Like I was doing well in the actual challenge, and then
Yeah, you were mostly first though every round.
this is my flop era. It's my flop era.
Well, this was quite the episode. Between me not performing that well in the challenge, barely escaping the Shadow game, losing my #1 Alliance member, this was a rough one for me. But all you can say in this episode is that you survived. And in this series, surviving is the name of the game. So, look, I guess I'm happy with how it went because I'm still here.
I am feeling great about my chances, provided every game from here on out is playing exactly advanced format Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm a little concerned, as Syriax is an incredible entertainer. Ruxin has encyclopedic knowledge of the dates, arts, and timing on old-school cards, and Gage plays silly Yu-Gi-Oh! Nonsense all day, every day on stream. I certainly feel good about my performance this week, but I do not know if I'm going to be able to run it back.
It's It's tough to watch Paul walk away from this season of King of Games. His old head like me, I remember making videos 10 years ago. Yeah, I do. Genuinely, a lot of times, probably best for me that he's actually out of this season. Dion, totally manageable. I still don't think that guy is going to make it to the end.
I feel like I started this episode, not at the top of the world, but like, I was riding pretty high. I was feeling good. The challenge was going well. It started to kind of get hurt towards the end, and then I got sent to the shadow room.
Eventually.
You know,
Governor intends to release it.
I will still say it was not my dick choice, but it was my hard choice that led to my defeat, and I can take responsibility for that. It has still been a very fun time. This entire series of challenges, Duelist Islands, I've kind of been calling it in my head. But I'm just happy that I got to be a part of it.
I've been faced with elimination 2 times, back to back.
I
don't love this feeling. I don't. I mean, I love the feeling now that I've won, but I don't like the feeling, the pressure. My palms sweating. Okay? I don't like that. So hopefully, we're not in an elimination game for a while until it's required. Ideally, when it's just 2 of us left. We're forced to be in an elimination game or something.
Talk about a reversal of fortune. But Team APS, we love having you. Thank you so much. You brought it. You were definitely a challenge to be contended with, but we have to say goodbye.
Once you are there,
Paul, GG's, Paul, GG's. So sad.
Good luck to you for the next King of Games.
This was literally like the Pokemon scene at the end from that movie.
Tell me, brother, my brother, tell me what we fighting for.
Slapping each other, okay? Crying about it. Why are we fighting? Anyway, go to the shadow, sorry.
Good luck to everybody else. I'm excited to see where this series goes now, because with me, I think there's only 4 people left, and who knows what's straight here, but this was a good time. I'm glad I got to be a part of it, so I will not be seeing you guys in the next one. But yeah, no. Should have just played live point game stuff.
Who knows what games lie in store next time for our participants in the King of Games? I guess you'll just have to tune in next time to find out. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Please, go on. You look distracted. Something on your mind?
You ever get a bad feeling you can't shake, but you don't know if it's for you or someone else?
With my job, it's usually both.
Yeah.
No car. Eventually must be further.
Why don't I know this? What is this thing? It's like an octangle. Octagon. Shut up! Don't play that.
You've got to know there's no way out for a traitor.
Intruders! Calm down. That explains why she's on top and tried to run. Okay. Now for Benji.
Strange aura in here. Something's wrong.
Wait. Are these on top? I see the comic is working. That's probably her. I told you once! It won't end any differently! Why don't you die? Why don't you give up? If this damn dark spot gets us scratched, enlighten me. If you hadn't interfered, it would make a difference. Neither would my death. My comet could have helped stabilize the city. But it's still blighted, dying. Nothing saves from me so now. We just stopped the governor from poisoning people. That's a start. I did it to protect the city. You did it because you wanted it for yourself. You say you did all this for Treviso Eventually. To protect it. But you never really believed in it. What do you know about the city I love? If Rook hadn't stopped the governor in time.
None of that. It is time to celebrate a victory.
Rook, I should have wine. We should toast you.
Eventually is dead. The comic has been disposed of, all thanks to you.
The garrison's a mess. Details.
The Untold remain, though with Eventually gone. I think we will be able to persuade them to move on in the coming months.
People are being moved to safer areas outside the Blight. Crows have time now to patrol for Darkspawn.
It will take years, but we can plan for Treviso's future now that it has one.
Treviso would have fallen long ago if it really didn't have a chance. I'm not so sure. A city is only as healthy as those who care for it.
You never gave up, Rook. We will repay that in full. But life is so dull if all we talk about are responsibilities. It is time to celebrate.
For our victory.
For Treviso's freedom.
For the crows.
What an excellent idea. Diablo, dear, you mentioned something about getting us drinks.
I think we've done what we can for Treviso. Whatever happens, This city's people won't flee. The other crows won't either. Spirit of determination.
Rescued some Danish from being Archdemon breakfast, didn't you? Wish I could have seen the look on Algernon's face. The Golden Glory. So, Tash pries the enormous ruby out of the statue's eye socket. Except then it wakes up, and now it's real pissed that it's missing an eye. Oh, my.
What kind of statue was this?
Big snake.
Events on Max, and it just phantom went away. So yeah, they just don't stream sports, really. I don't think. Maybe someone could pull up a chart or something. Fight Oracle responded to this Chris Featherstone news and said they could get a nice UFC package for the money that WBD is spending on AEW. Would give them a major league feel rather than sort of being the B-level sports platform that they are now. If you guys aren't following Fight Oracle, go ahead and do so. Tremendous insight on fighting and pro wrestling and investing in general. So not talking out of their ass. And yeah, I mean, WBD could invest in UFC with the money they're spending on AEW. It's ridiculous. And UFC actually gets viewers. So even people like Fight Oracle are calling it out now. Wrestle Purist, Elbu, Booker of the Year 2024, 44% of their audience even said Triple H. So how the f could you not? Anthony Bowens, split from the Acclaimed, and he filed the trademark The Pride of Pro Wrestling. So we have the best wrestler alive in Caster, and then we have the Pride of Pro Wrestling in Anthony Bowens. Crazy Steve, TNA's Crazy Steve, wrestled a dark match in AEW on Collision against Serpentico. So shout out Crazy Steve. I'm a big fan of that dude. I hope he, and he's like, legally blind. I'm legally blind. Pete up T holding it down. AEW reportedly has no plans for Jeff Jarrett to win the AEW World Championship. When I saw this, I was like, and even Conrad Thompson was like, come on now, Eric. Oh, come on now, Bill. Come on now, Sean Ross Sapp. That's not very fair to gossip about myself and Jeff Jarrett. Actually, it has nothing to do with me. However, oh, come on now. That's not very fair to say there's no plans. He could make a run at the title. I'm definitely here for it. I'm here for it, Jeff. But yeah, dude, why would you report this? Like, this I don't get. I don't get why you would betray friends and why you would report some significant storyline thing like this. This is why people don't tune into the show either, because, oh, Jeff's not.
don't think Tosh will survive, Laura.
No, look. Tosh loves cheese
cheese
buns.
buns.
Tosh
Tosh
loves
loves
everything.
everything.
Nothing
Nothing
like
like running down dragons to
build
build up an appetite.
It's
It's the fire breathing.
I have
I have to eat more to build up stuff in my gut.
I
I
know
know
what I have to do. I'm pulling a barf.
Oh, God.
2, 3.
Heart's in the right place. Form's a little sloppy, though.
Bend your knees.
Frederick Krueger, later known as Fred, or most commonly Freddy, was born in the early 1940s, the son of a nun named Amanda Krueger. She was part of a religious order that ran an asylum known as Weston Hills, and did volunteer work there from time to time. When Amanda was young, she was accidentally locked in a ward for the criminally insane over the holidays, and the inmates kept her hidden for days. When she was found, she was barely alive, and is now pregnant with a child.
The bastard son of 100 millions.
While we don't know who the true biological father is, it was probably this guy, just based on their similar appearance. According to Alice Johnson's research on Freddy, Amanda gave birth at that very same asylum. I imagine she delivered the baby here, as opposed to a normal hospital, out of shame, since nuns are supposed to be selfish. She was panicked throughout the entire childbirth, and the baby was breech, meaning that she was going to come out feet first instead of head first. There's probably some symbolism surrounding the fact that Freddy was born upside down, with the mother being a nun and an upside-down cross being associated with the devil. Because through his disastrous life experiences and eventual demonic intervention, Freddy would indeed become the antithesis to God. To learn about Freddy's childhood, how he became the Demon of Dreams, the timeline I pieced together using bits of information throughout the franchise, how he represents various scientific sleep phenomena, and what the future now holds for Freddy Krueger, stick around to the end of this video. This video is sponsored by Audible. No, please shut up. Just please shut up. But welcome to Horror History. Can you believe I'm finally doing Freddy? And that's actually a good clip for me to introduce this character, because like Major League Baseball these days, the rules are constantly changing in the Elm Street franchise. Freddy debuted as a dangerous dream spirit in the original A Nightmare on Elm Street, but by the second one, they had already changed the rules, making him possess people in the real world to do his bidding. And throughout the rest of the franchise, the rules keep changing. Obviously, the best version of Freddy would just be to disregard everything after the first one, but that's not why you watch Horror History, is it? I'm going to try to make sense of this entire timeline, but when it comes to the rules, there are obviously going to be inconsistencies. And I, obviously, am going to ridicule them. I think what makes Freddy special for a lot of people is that he was always played by the classically trained actor Robert Englund, but that almost wasn't the case. In 1985, during the production of A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, New Line Cinema wanted to save money by just putting some nobody in a rubber mask on, which would have been funny, but also very bad. And the studio realized that, and Englund got his check, and probably a huge apology. You can still see the masked version of Freddy right here, but in this shot, you can't really tell. But you can try to impress your friends with that knowledge. No one will care. Hopefully they'll tell you to get a grip on your life. Of course, there is no Freddy Krueger without his iconic finger blade claw. According to director Wes Craven, this was inspired by his pet cat, who destroyed his couch with his claws, making him ponder his primal human fears of being clawed to death by a saber-toothed tiger in nature. I guess he was still not over it 12 years later when he had Billy Loomis go to town on that couch and scream. But to fully understand the bastard cat of $100+ of ruined furniture, we've got to take it back to his childhood and how he learned to never show mercy on the kids.
Enough for that one to get her fish. Free next time.
He was put up for adoption from a young age, and if I had to guess, he was basically right away, given him a shame about having a child. This didn't stop his classmates from learning who he was and bullying him for it. Chanting his nickname, Son of Murder, by the mid to late 1950s, he had already developed the tendencies that would carry over to his adulthood. At one point, he could be seen smashing the class register since he was said he'd taken a liking to wearing Fred's face stripes. Fred, the adopted father, is later found to be extremely abusive, with likely that the abuse at home and at school is what led Freddy to becoming abusive himself. There's clinical research to back this. The rate of abuse among individuals with a history of abuse is approximately 6 times higher. By his teenage years, Freddy learned to embrace the pain, going so far as to slice himself with a razor while laughing just for entertainment. But at this point, taking the belt from his adopted father was nothing, and he mockingly thanks him for the lash. Smart bets on you.
Smart,
Not letting you heal. You can start using it. It's there any basis in reality for this? I think this is obviously an exaggerated version of a real concept, and that concept is masochism, or the tendency to derive pleasure from one's own pain or humiliation. And masochism is often associated with bedroom access. Many only theorize as to why people develop this condition. There are a number of theories out there, which I have read about for the video, guys, for the video, one of which is linked to trauma. The idea is that the victim of the trauma, in this case Freddy, is finding a way to take control of this pain that was previously out of his control as a coping mechanism. It's basically the same idea as when someone says, you are my pain, I quit.
Besides, aliens are dumb dummies.
It's interesting thing to keep in mind as we consider part of the story, because all of Cyber's there are some
You're the same. That's good for business.
He manages to find a wife named Loretta, and together she has a daughter born in 1950. And I know this because we're told that Catherine was taken away from him in 1966, and her adopted neighbors say that she was adopted at
It's how we live together. It
was at some point during Catherine's life that Fred began kidnapping and killing children in town, earning himself a new nickname, the Springwood Killer. Yeah, keep working on that one, Springwood Gazette headline writers. Freddy also crafted his own glove, using a blowtorch and some welding tools as his. For each victim he took, he documented the moment in his scrapbook, as well as an array of souvenirs that he kept in his basement workshop. One day, Catherine moved into the basement where her father kept newspaper clippings, photos, and other evidence of his murder. It seems early on an array of prototype gloves in addition to the fingerplate glove that we all know and love, like one with shorter knives seemingly taped to his fingertips, one with nails affixed to his knuckles, and one with shorter curved claws that looks to be made of copper. While Catherine is browsing through all of this, Freddy is up in the backyard, shaking and beating Loretta for discovering his secret plot. He would indeed take Loretta's life over this, but he covered it up well enough to make police think that she had just gone missing. Mrs. Krueger, wife of Freddy Krueger, just disappeared without a trace, according to Detective Smith of the Springwood Police Department. I mean, did they not check his basement? Something tells me this Detective Smith is maybe not Springwood's brightest. Freddy did find out that his daughter also stumbled across the room, but he seemed satisfied with letting her live, and was just threatening her not to tell anyone. This would eventually come back to bite him in the nose, but not for many more years. Catherine was relocated to the orphanage in 1996, but Freddy would go on terrorizing the town for a couple of years, and the body count would continue to pile higher. Then there was his job.
Wow, what is this place?
Fred Krueger worked here. It's not hard.
This is how Freddy managed to evade police as long as he did. I'm guessing after the scare with Loretta, Freddy decided it was too risky to continue working out of his home, and instead took the kidnapped kids to the boiler room at this power plant. It's estimated that he took 20 to 30 kids.
It drove us crazy when we didn't know who it was.
I don't know, maybe the weird guy whose wife disappeared and whose daughter was confiscated by the states? Anyway, it took a couple of years, but police finally had that big brain moment and arrested Frederick Krueger in 1968. I know this because this newspaper in the Dream Child announces the death of Freddy's mother and says he was recently arrested in connection with the Springwood child murders. And Amanda Krueger's grave says that she died in 1968. Freddy was put on trial, but in the end, someone didn't sign the search warrant in the right place, and Krueger was set free just like that. The public was furious, with headlines reading, "Child molester acquitted, citizens outraged." And this is actually the only place where Freddy is directly accused of being more than just a child killer. But there are more covert clues, which I will go over as we go along. I'd imagine that he was suspected of both, but the prosecution just wanted to focus on the murder charges because that was their strongest case. In real life, Freddy actually was supposed to be a molester in an early version of the script for the first movie, but they dropped that part around 1982 or 1983 when some high-profile cases involving a daycare and fake news sites, and here's what that one's looking like. You know that this is completely which David was sent to future, and you should see the videos. And with a lot of film to take down Krueger, the nearest little traits After that, all they had to do was toss a Molotov cocktail through the window and watch the fireworks. Yet, by some divine prank, Freddy had been chosen by a higher power. Maybe they saw potential in him because of his ability to ignore pain, or maybe it was merely his infamy and notoriety in Springwood that made him an ideal candidate. But in his final moments, Freddy is approached by 3 dream demons who offer him the opportunity to become eternal. We know. And you shall be. Not much is known about the dream demons, but they seem to go back to ancient Greek times, suggesting that Freddy's new role as a dream spirit could almost be like a second coming of Epialus, the Greek demon of nightmares. The word Epialus means feverish chill, or daemon who assaults sleepers. The dream demons themselves are depicted outside of the temple of Morpheus, Morpheus being the Greek god of dreams and nightmares.
These are ancient dream demons. Supposedly they roam the dreams of the living to find the most evil, twisted human bat, no matter how to cross the line, turn of nightmares into reality.
In any event, there's a lot of controversy regarding Kruger's death, and each headline seemed to tell a different story. Some say he died in the fire, others suggest suicide, while some detail a vigilante style. The parents hid his remains at Penny Bros Auto Salvage, somewhere that they knew nobody would find his bones, because nobody ever salvages anything from an auto salvage. Finally, one woman, Marge Thompson, took the knife-clawed glove and hid it in her basement as some kind of reassurance that it wouldn't fall back into the wrong hands. All seemed well for a few years. Freddy was burned to death. This public just seemed to get nobody knew. These may appear to be cases of sons or sudden unexpected in the early 80s, where seems to be the syndrome has actually inspired Craven to write an experimentation. In an interview with Ultra, he was afraid he could be attacked with his teens. When he finally fell asleep, his parents thought this crisis was over. Then they heard screams. By the time they got to him, he was dead. He died in the middle of the night. The adults didn't have much in the way of a logical explanation. The kids sat down in nursery warning the haunting of Freddy. But the next line of the song is the most trick. Stand and grab your crucifix, which seems to compare Freddy to some kind of anti-hero figure that you can protect yourself against using But is this the case, or is it just urban legend? In March 1981, Nancy Thompson, the fingerplate blood, would find out or have to pause and explain to him. The movies don't often reference the date, so I had to do one of the 3 days in June 15th. Graduation ceremony occurs in A Nightmare on Elm Street. In Elm Street 4, Alice has a driver's license, so at the earliest, this is 1987. Kristen's tombstone states that she was born in 1969, and she's still in high school, which means that her latest is 1987. So Elm Street 4 takes place in 1987, and this is the prison which came out in 87. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 takes place a little bit before the 4th one, because it's midterm school together in the fall. So Dream Warriors is most likely spring or summer of that same year. And in Dream Warriors, Nancy says this. Which means the original A Nightmare on Elm Street took place in 1981. And according to Nancy's diary, which is found in the second movie, the weird dreams began around March 15th.
March 15th. He comes to me at night, poor, ugly, dirty, under the sheets, and tearing at my nightgown with his steel claws. His name is Frank. And he keeps trying to fix his life. He wants to kill her.
But why does he want to kill her? It's really pretty simple. The more children's souls he collects, the more powerful he is. And he also needs to make himself known as an urban legend in order to strike fear into the town. Because if people forget about him, he'll be in danger of losing the power to invade dreams. So in March 1981, he chooses 4 new targets in his old neighborhood on Elm Street: Nancy Thompson, Tina Gray, Rod Lane, and Glenn Lance. And each of them have dreams where Freddy begins to scare time. Tina's dream includes the appearance of a lamb in a damp hallway, which represents the sacrificial lamb found in many religions, including about her becoming the first sacrifice of the friend. From there, she goes to the boiler room, which is Freddy's main domain. She's cornered in front of a furnace, flames blazing behind her. This room represents hell, and Freddy represents the devil that resides over it. Like something that can only happen in a nightmare, Freddy suddenly appears behind her, and she awakens with a scream, finding her nightgown torn. I think you could also look at the torn clothing as a more subtle way of Craven, including the detail about Freddy also being a different type of predator when it comes to the minors that he's hunting. Nancy and Rod both experience similar dreams that night, so the next day, both couples stay at Tina's. Nancy, at first glance, seems to be protected by the crucifix in the bedroom that she's staying in, because Freddy seems to retract after starting to cross the threshold. Tina, on the other hand, would not be so lucky, and finds herself in another nightmare scenario. If you really want to fully understand everything there is to know about Freddy Krueger, it's important to also understand his creator, Wes Craven, writer and director of the original movie. And the best way to do this is to check out his biography, Wes Craven, The Man in His Nightmares, now available on Audible. Starting from his childhood, this book takes you through the intricacies of his career and personal life, including some lesser-known details of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Right now, with my link, users can get a free trial of Audible. As an Audible member, you get to choose one title a month to keep. As a member, you also get full access to a growing selection of included audiobooks, Audible originals, and podcasts. It's easy to download from any device with the Audible app. Even yours. It's the perfect way to create time to check out more titles, whether you're relaxing, on the go, or multitasking. You can even listen to Audible to drown out the mundanities of life and the incessant flow of time leading to your mortality. But it's easy. How do we get Audible free for 30 days? It's easy. Just go to audible.com/CZsWorld or text CZsWorld to 500-500, and then you can figure it out from there. That's audible.com/CZsWorld or text CZsWorld to 500-500 for your free trial. Freddy lures Tina into an alley using a mysterious voice. Then, after rolling a trash can lid in her direction to startle her, reveals his horrifying appearance. Arms extended unnaturally to scrape her ball with his blinded blood. Tina's first reaction is to seek help in God, but Freddy, persistently in opposition to religion, mocks her God with his response. Chases her back to the house, demonstrating the ability to warp around the dream scene, slice off his own fingers with no pain, and have his face torn away. Remember, he's been doing this for some time at this point, and has already developed tricks to terrify and torture his victims using dream logic. He pins her down and slashes her through the chest before dragging and tossing her body all around the room. The others are woken up by the commotion and don't manage to get any sleep after seeing the scene, so it isn't until the next day that Freddy is able to target Nancy, who falls asleep in class. Freddy is able to manipulate the dreams of his victims, so he causes Nancy to see her best friend in a body bag, the first in the trail of breadcrumbs that he uses to draw her in. He shapeshifts into a hall monitor, who she runs into on her way to the basement, which turns out to be none other than Freddy's boiler room. The school basement never disappoints in a horror movie. I remember when I was in high school on one of the last day basements, the one place in the school that I had never seen. And he did. He didn't even question why I wasn't in class. And it just goes to show, sometimes you just gotta ask for things. Like asking you to subscribe. Freddy emerges from behind the boiler and slices his own chest just as he used to as a boy, but this time it reveals maggots and green ooze. He laughs maniacally as he chases her around, but unlike Tina, Nancy manages to wake herself up at the end by reaching for a hot pipe. But thanks to the power given to him by the dream demons, any injuries that he dishes out in dreams also carry through to real life, and then Nancy wakes up realizing that the burn is real. Not to be deterred, Freddy continues to haunt Nancy's dreams whenever she falls asleep, like when she dozes off in the bathtub and he pulls her under the surface, once again hinting at that metaphor that the studio didn't want to include blatantly. In another dream, Freddy visits Rod, who's being held in jail as a suspect in Tina's death. He gives chase, continuing to use images of Tina to torture her, but ultimately, Nancy's alarm clock saves her. Perhaps wanting an easier target, or perhaps realizing it will have a psychological effect on Nancy if another one of her friends dies, Freddy turns his efforts to Rod, kills him in his dream, and stages it as a suicide. He goes for another round with Nancy after this. However, I don't have the details because we see the stream from an outside perspective while Nancy is being studied at the Katya Sleep Institute. However, it must have to be more of a nuisance call. The tongue protrudes out of the receiver and licks her, causing her to spike the phone and destroy it. That's still preferred to getting a telemarketer. It wouldn't be the last time that Freddy used his tongue to freak out a victim, and it all ties into the inappropriate subtext of his character. But Nancy isn't even asleep for this, so how did Freddy get to her in the waking world? At this point, Nancy is ready to
try to cure this
awake 24/7.
Sometimes if they can call the demon free, that's why I know, but there's no guarantee of success, especially in place because you'll smile the first to get up.
You may have experienced this
because I make my best.
I fall asleep and you hear someone say your name, but there's nobody there. Or you hear your phone buzz, but there's no notification. Now that I've looked into hypnagogic hallucination, I actually think it's a sleep mystery that's always haunted. I used to see all these kinds of movies and videos of us. Do you think that the definitely safety Airbnb? I don't know. You got this guy that snores super loud, incredibly loud. You would not speak like reading oil and water. So it was such a dark ultimately just as he was falling asleep. I realized my face. It's my face. I know my face. It's stronger and there's no way. The guy still strikes me as there's no concern from me. One thing, if I free myself, but it's truly demon if I round you. Include physical hallucinations as well. So I think that's what's happening to Nancy here. Her body is shutting down, and those hallucinations are starting to happen while she's still
demon who's ready to save people and my friends. He believes them if I cast him out.
Just like Nancy was
Keep saying it.
Freddy pulls the ledge out into a void in his back. Smokes before his thoughts go fully explosive. Completely repaints
Why will only be alone if he chooses to be?
Freddy uses them against her as she intentionally travels back as a dream, moving to bring Freddy out into the real world with her. As she travels down to the boiler room, she hears echoes of her dead friends calling to her, and Freddy's flashlights.
It's easier to believe. And it's easier to see a future like it is when this is done.
Stalks her for around corners and goes deeper into the boiler room, eventually chasing her through dream space back to her house. But to his surprise, instead of running from it, she spiked just before her and takes her back to the world of the away. I don't want to get too picky here because none of this is real, but I feel like if Freddy Krueger was real, that this plan wouldn't work, because clocks never seem to work properly in a dream. And also, you can have a dream that feels really long, but it was actually pretty short in real life. They do an amazing job of conceptualizing this in the movie Inception. Anyway, Freddy is carried through, back into the real world for the first time in 13 years. But that's not going to stop him from going after her. Only he finds that in this world, everything's been rigged with traps. He opens a locked door only to be gut-checked with a hammer, trips over a wire that sets off an exploding light bulb, and gets bombarded with a jug of kerosene to set the stage for a Freddy-flavored barbecue. But this is nothing that he hasn't dealt with before. The now flaming Freddy stays high on her heels, literally, but he's door-checked back down the stairs. Still, he's somehow able to break out of the basement and sneak past Nancy, up the stairs, and into the room of Nancy's mother, Marge, one of the parents responsible for killing him the first time and stealing his blood. Still ablaze, he strangles her in her sleep until Nancy finds him and breaks the chair over his back. But when the flames are extinguished by Nancy's dad, they see Marge's charred remains sink back into the dreamscape, with Freddy nowhere to be found. My interpretation is that since Freddy passed where to sleep, he was able to use her to escape back into the world of dreams, taking her life in the process. But this battle is not over yet. As Nancy takes a moment to herself in her room, Freddy takes the opportunity to stretch the fabric of reality, and apparently the fabric of this bedsheet, once more. But this time, Nancy seems to have him figured out.
That's not a lot of time. Getting past the
Nancy is finally able to divest him of his power by turning away and depriving him of the energy he needs by refusing to believe he's real or be afraid. As he tries to stab her in the back, he disintegrates into a cosmic shadow and disappears. As I mentioned a lot, the rules tend to change a lot in this franchise, but there are a few other moments that are consistent with Freddy's defeat here. In A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Nancy further explains how she eventually beat Freddy on the last page of her diary.
He is evil itself. I know now that I brought him into my world. We all did. Gave him all the energy he needed. Our screams were all he needed.
The concept is touched on again in Freddy vs. Jason, which we'll get to. Despite seeming to find the key to fend off Freddy, Nancy's defense would not stand forever.
We're fighting gods. Doesn't get any tougher than this. The harder it is, the more it
After nearly trapping Nancy in his nightmare convertible, she was somehow able to escape Freddy's grasp and wake up again. She was close to becoming his greatest rival, but that rivalry would be interrupted in the aftermath of Freddy's 19th rampage. Nancy was determined to have gone free, or at least that's the story that serves.
but the gods should fight.
Surprisingly, this seemed to do the trick. With no more dreams, Freddy had no way to access her, and he eventually had to move on to a new target. It would appear that none of these other kids gave him quite as much trouble as
The gods see farther than anyone,
these names in the
but they can't see everything at once. Sounds like Jay
Buddy,
reach out to our allies. Widows, left jumpers, tell them to be ready to start swimming. We start taking fires, make some noise, and the gods will look after their famous. Except at their front door.
You've helped our allies, Rook. They're ready to return the favor.
That takes care of the approach. But what about when we get there? We'll have two guards waiting. Who knows how many is around them? We'll need to be on our best. Question is, we there yet? We are ready as we'll ever be.
I'll send off messages to our allies. They'll be ready.
And ask for his help on some special work.
For something like this, we'll need everyone we know. Would Morgan help? Could Morgan help?
The world's ending. That's when Morgan does her best work.
Right. Tell Morgan she is the places is willing to help us. I know she's busy leading the fight in the south, but she knows this bride will live until the gods are dead.
This time, Freddy's goal is to take over Jesse's body and make him do the killing. as a metaphor for the shame that Jesse feels by still being closeted about his sexuality.
This
feels began at the time when Jesse
Put it to my children soon.
I
agree.
So
Get some rest and be ready.
hidden in the furnace, and Freddy encourages him to try putting it on and kill it. The following evening, the Welch's pet bird breaks out of its cage, flies around, attacks the family, then bursts into flames.
It's gotta be a rational explanation. These animals just don't explode into flames for no reason.
Excellent observation, Cat. The moment also represents the point where Freddy isn't just limited to dreams anymore, for some reason. His next move comes later that night, while Jesse's gym teacher is making him run laps as punishment for sneaking into a bar. Freddy brings all the gym equipment to life and uses it to attack the coach, eventually tying him up with a jump rope before taking control of Jesse's body and using it to slash Coach Snyder in the back. When the fog clears, Jesse finds himself wearing the glove that he found the other night. He screams when he realizes what he's done, which suggests that this time Freddy is using his powers to simulate another sleep phenomenon. Somnambulism, more commonly known as sleepwalking. But once again, it's not very realistic that Freddy would be able to control sleepwalking. Sleepwalking occurs during non-REM sleep, during which there are no dreams. So when someone sleepwalks, they aren't actually acting out their dreams, it's more of a misfired signal in the brain. But we have seen Freddy demonstrate an ability to toss around someone whose dream he's invading, like what happened with Tina and Glenn, for example. So maybe he's just doing that in a more controlled way to manipulate Jesse into doing whatever he wants. More weird nightmares would follow. The next night, he found Freddy's glove moving on its own in the drawer, and even directed his own sister jump roping while singing the Freddy Krueger nursery rhyme. In the morning, their toaster catches fire, even though it's not plugged in.
They just kind of think of a mistake.
Dad, what about the bird that exploded yesterday? In the evening, Freddy possesses Jesse's body again, and he visits his sister's room. But when he speaks out to her, Freddy's voice comes out. So then, she does wake up, clearly sees her brother standing there, and asks what time it is. And when he tells her, it's in Jesse's voice again, because she's no longer asleep.
It's like, go back to sleep.
So which one is it? You want her to wake up or go to sleep? Make up your mind. Now, up until this point, Freddy has kind of been able to fly under the radar. Some of his victims drew a big police presence, but because he only takes one victim at a time, and because all of his victims are asleep, there are only a couple witnesses who know that he's these victims. That would all change soon, because Lisa Weber, a girl from Jesse's school who has a crush on him, holds a big pool party, and of course, invites Jesse. She tries to get it on with him in the cabana, but Freddy demonstrates his control by, once again, materializing a huge rotting tongue in the real world. For Jesse, this represents his true sexuality, which he's trying to hide. So when he realizes he's unable to control it, he gets out of there. Which is actually smart. Good job, Jesse. Except he goes to visit the boy he most likely has an eye on in Grady, which was not smart. Because as he's there, he literally sees himself transform into Freddy, which is an agonizing process for him. Jesse, or Freddy, it's not really clear which one Grady can actually see, puts on the fingerblade glove and gashes right through him as he bangs on the door for help. Rip Grady. With the floodgates now open for Freddy to manipulate stuff in the real world, he goes back to sabotage the pool party, locking everyone in, blowing up the lights, heating the pool to the point of boiling, and worst of all, setting all the hot dogs on fire. Meanwhile, inside, Freddy takes over Jesse's body and attacks Lisa. He starts eating her leg, for some reason. Okay. But she gets away and tries to call out to Jesse, believing that he's still in there somewhere. She actually gets through to him, but it's clear that he's given up hope.
Kill me, Lisa. Please kill me.
And since Freddy's only real goal is to kill people and harvest souls, he just finds this amusing. I heard a knock upon my door the other day. Natural reaction. Lisa stabs him in the shoulder, but even in the real world, that does no good. This is the same guy who used to cut himself all day for fun. He throws Lisa against the wall, but for now, he's gonna let her live. It's always hard for me to analyze his actions when they don't make any sense, but here goes. Freddy knew that Lisa loved Jesse, so he didn't see her as a threat and decided to go after the other guests at the pool party first. Everyone outside is confused by the commotion, then this happens. During this onslaught, nobody can escape because they're locked in, and the fence is burning hot. Chaos ensues, the pool catches fire, and at least 4 teens are killed before Lisa's dad makes it outside with his gun. But knowing that Jesse is still in there somewhere, Lisa actually prevents him